Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
Coming up, it's a Google invasion.
Yeah, plus Evernote's on a buying spree, better syncing, and is Facebook playing nice with Apple?
That would be weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All that, and let's shop till we drop endlessly on iPad today.
iPad Today is brought to you by Slingbox, which can turn your iPad into a television. With the new iPad app from Slingbox, you can watch your home TV on your iPad anywhere you go. Check it out at slingbox.com. And by Squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to create a high-quality website or blog. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, go to Squarespace.com and use the offer code iPadToday5. And don't forget, they offer free domain registration with annual plan subscriptions. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to iPad Today, the show that is dedicated to this little device that we love so very much, the iPad. Sarah Lane.
It's my best friend. Sometimes I fall asleep while reading in bed, and I wake up and I'm on top of my iPad.
Or it's
on
your face. Yeah.
And I realize, wow, I'm sleeping with this. I love it so much.
So you are you reading Kindle books or iBooks, or do you read webs? I mean, what are you reading?
Usually what I do is during the course of a day or even week, I will have Instapapered enough stuff. So it's like I know that I've got, 10 articles or services that I wanted to follow up on, just stuff that I have bookmarked. And so at the end of the day, when I'm finally sort of in bed, I sort of go like, okay, I'll just get through as much as I can.
You immediately fall
before
asleep.
Before I go away. I never quite finish, but that's my way of trying to keep up.
I haven't actually read anything in bed in ages because it immediately puts me out. It's a great way to go to sleep if you're having trouble sleeping.
Yeah. Now that I have the Renew alarm clock, have you been doing that?
I have been renewing.
I've been doing that religiously, and that's actually what I do at the end of the night is I dock my iPad.
Right. This is the alarm clock that you can put an iPhone or iPad on, and it watches you sleeping, which sounds creepy, but it does. It watches your breathing, and then it records how well you slept.
So, for example, last night, this is really...
You got 6 hours, 16 minutes.
It kind of sucks because I actually didn't sleep all that well.
Looks like you slept great.
It's
mostly light. You woke up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Briefly, and then you woke up again at 8 and you went back to bed.
I went to bed a little later than I like to. So, but what I do is like, by the time you go to sleep, you think, okay, what's 8 hours from now? Okay, realistically, what can I set my alarm for?
Right.
And I didn't really wake up. This is pretty good. I had a nice little no interruption sleep. But my deep sleep, that's the restorative sleep that you want. I'm not deep sleeping very much. I only deep slept for 32 minutes.
I think it's something
according to the app.
I think it's something with the app because I notice I don't have much deep sleep either. When I use the Fitbit or the Up Band, both of which do the same thing, they would record more deep sleep. So
but
I think
they record movement, and this is using the equivalent of Doppler radar. So it's movement, but also
it's more accurate, you
breathing.
Think?
Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, but I am doing this because I'm fascinated by
clock
sleep.
We talked about before. It's called Renew. It's $200. It's not cheap. There's actually less expensive alternatives that do the same thing, which we should investigate. But I think they all require some sort of physical thing. And Sarah and I are both using it, oddly enough.
Because we don't have enough projects, right? Now, let's record our sleep
I love
every
this
night.
project because you don't have to you just sleep.
Well, also, I wake up and my iPad's fully charged.
That's another good reason.
That's actually the number one reason I love it.
It's kind of weird. Do you wear that underwear when you...
Well, yeah, that's me, actually. That was the back of me in my penthouse apartment.
My favorite thing, and the reason I use this actually is the alarm, because I have the birds wake me up.
Me too.
And I like that. It's nice.
I'm in the
it's
jungle.
Natural.
It's great.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wake up before my zone time. If I say, wake me up between 8 and 8:15.
And you'll just lie there
I wake up at
waiting for the
7:55, and I'm waiting for the birds.
It fools me every time. I think, wow, the bird... Every single time, I think, wow, the birds are really loud. It's my alarm.
I live in a tropical jungle.
Yeah. Wow, the thunderstorm. It's really... fools me every time because you're sleepy.
You're half awake, and that's the mark of a good alarm, I guess, because you're not upset and jarred.
As long as we're talking hardware that we reviewed that the Renew clock on Before You Buy. You last week on Before You Buy reviewed this Logitech Keyboard.
I did. Yes, love this thing. It's great.
There's other ones that actually become cases. This one is just like hinged.
Well, this is a case.
Well, it's just the back, though.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the front, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It attaches to the front of the iPad.
What's nice is it makes it look like it's all aluminum.
It's a cover.
Yeah.
But then, it's a Bluetooth keyboard as well. So when you dock I've got my other cover on this right now, so I don't want to mess it up too much. But you dock it here, and then what's nice about this, and I said this on Before You Buy, so make sure you check out the episode, but for anybody who has a black iPad, it'd be a little bit not as fluid for yours because it won't match.
I have a white one. Yeah.
But when you have a black iPad, it actually looks like it was meant to be because it's the same color and it's nice and shiny. But it does get very thumbprinty. Yeah.
But you're right. It doesn't quite match. They should have made a white one.
It looks fine. It's just it's not as seamless.
It's very sturdy in the slot. More sturdy than I would have thought.
Works out very well too. Yeah. I enjoy it. In
How
fact,
much is that? I might have to get this.
$99. I think I may be misquoting.
No, that sounds about right.
Yeah. We're actually going to talk about it a little bit later in the show. But you know what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
How could you?
I thought that you might want to talk about it.
How could you?
At the beginning of the show.
Okay.
So
well,
sorry.
this is why
we'll
we do the show.
Out.
No. This is
rehearsal.
This is let's just see how it goes.
And then if we like it, we'll do ananother one.
Yeah. If the
All right.
show
What
goes
is our?
well, maybe we'll be back next week.
What is our topic today?
Topic today is the Google invasion. Now, you might be saying, what's new about Google?
Really?
I can think of Google apps that are already on iOS. What's the deal? What's so cool about this?
Well, you know what started this?
What?
The new Google Plus app.
Which you came running up to me yesterday, excited, and said, this is
so good.
So good.
So we thought we would start with that, but talk about all the different tools that Google provides and ways to use them on your iPad. But this is now, we should point out, this is an iPhone app that just happens to look really good on the iPad. In fact, I certainly hope they do it for the iPad eventually. This is Google Plus, their social network.
Which, can we just say, this looks nothing like anything Google's ever done before. This is actually pretty.
Sarah and I were kind of asking yesterday, do you think maybe Kevin Rose's team had anything to do with this?
I would.
It feels like something Milk might have done.
Yeah. It
looks a little oinky.
Well, what else are they doing there? It would make perfect sense.
It's very quick, though. I mean, they just got there
on the team
a little while ago. Google has said they're going to do this for Android. I want to hear them say they're going to do this for the iPad because this could be a great experience. But even now, first of all, it really promotes the strength of Google Plus, which is images. Google Plus pictures are fantastic, and this really, we're in 2X. This is an iPhone app, but it really looks good. Because
as long as the images are good, it'll up-res just fine.
And by the way, this is ironically what we just reviewed.
I noticed that.
David Chartier reviewing it. So that was just a coinkydink. But you can see, his text. You can comment on the post. It's iPhone, but it doesn't. You can reshare it. You can do other Google-y things, and of course, you can plus one it as I just did. I just think the browsing is what's really sweet on this.
You keep up with your feed.
Watch the animation. My God, maybe I'm not getting it now. But on the there it is. You saw how that appeared.
You were just going too quickly before.
Isn't that cool?
It's very nice. And for anybody who's annoyed with me saying that other Google apps don't look nice, you got to admit
they don't.
This is in a world. This looks like.
This doesn't look like anything Google's ever done before.
Right.
I have to think that the reason Google acquired Milk, hired Kevin and Daniel Burka and the other great designers at Milk, is because they wanted to upgrade their mobile apps, and I think this is the beginning.
What do you think about this coming out for iOS before Android?
Kind of a surprise, although
kind of weird.
Google was very quick to say, oh, no, we're going to do an Android in just a few weeks.
Sure.
And they'll have some special things. One of the things that's missing from this that is available on Android is you can't do Hangouts from this Google Plus app. That is a really nice feature of Google Plus, and to be able to do Hangouts on your phone kind of matches and maybe even beats the FaceTime capability on the iPad. So I'm excited. I do hope that they add Hangouts. If you are a Google Plus user, and I know a lot of you don't, but if you do use Google Plus, this is absolutely, in fact, it's kind of revitalized my interest in Google Plus because it's so beautiful. Great on the iPhone, but yes, it works great on the iPad too. So that's how we start, but there are other ways and other apps.
There are so many Google apps. I mean, if you just search
amazing.
Google in the App Store, they're not all actual official Google apps, but many of them are, and you might not be familiar with them. I just want to mention the most obvious one of them all, which is Gmail.
And it's great.
And you might say, well, duh,
What do
Sarah,
you need it for?
Except that the reason that you do need it is because if for whatever reason you've decided to use IMAP to bring in Gmail through your Apple Mail app, which I have done from the beginning of time, and just kind of felt like, well, you know, it's okay, but it's the same thing that you're going to get through Gmail. It just looks a little bit different, right? Well, it doesn't really, and the reason it doesn't is because when you search for things, it doesn't actually, for whatever reason, my keyboard's not coming up. I don't know what's going on with my
Maybe
my
your
mail app right
Bluetooth
now.
keyboard is signaling hello?
Oh, gosh, I guess that's
It
possible.
is. Use your Bluetooth keyboard.
But,
See?
Get away from me, Logitech.
Yeah, go.
That's so
here,
funny.
give it to me. I'll break it.
Break it, please.
Or I'll just take it home with me.
Yeah,
Thank you very
do that,
much, Sarah Lane.
That's so funny. I wouldn't have.
Of course it is.
I would have taken me all day to figure
There's
that out.
no on-off switch. That's something to remember, by the way.
In a nutshell, the problem with Google, with Gmail, and I know that you've been through this before. You know that you have an email.
Right.
For whatever reason, it's archived or whatever. It's, you know, you can't scroll through. It's not in the top 5. So you go, okay, well, I know it was from my landlord, George, so I'll just search for George. I'll click the from section, and all that stuff should populate. And it'll say, didn't find anything. Look on server. 6,700 more messages on server. You know what I'm talking about. And you look, and it's not there.
It drives me crazy.
It drives me insane. And you look for the same thing using the actual official Gmail app, which is, I don't love the way this looks, but at least it acts like Gmail, and you find what you were looking for.
It actually, because that drives me crazy. I can never find.
What is the problem?
It's like if you didn't sync it, well, we're not going to find it, period.
It's
if
an
it does,
IMAP thing
Yeah, it must be.
because it's on some sort of I don't know. But
so that's a good
sometimes
reason.
I search for messages that should have been synced a long time ago, but it's, you know, it's the Gmail app. If you use Gmail,
right.
I don't know how this applies to other email services that you might be routing through Apple Mail. But absolutely, if you use Gmail, it's essential, or you're going to miss things.
Now, there is the kind of canonical Google app. There's an app that's the Google app for iPad. And you have to have this. Not to use Google Search, really, because that's silly. You could just launch Safari and do Google Search. But you'll notice that it does add a few features. The Google Goggles, which is great. You take a picture of the Eiffel Tower. It'll search by image. And all the Google apps are here. Some people prefer the Gmail. This is kind of the web app version of Gmail. And some people prefer that to the standalone Gmail app. It's, as you said, very, very similar to the interface. They have photos, Picasso's on here, maps, offers, translate, YouTube. So this is an interface into Google Apps. And pretty much all of them are on here. That everybody should at least have this. And, you know, we were talking about Docs. I cannot find a great app for Google Docs. But this gives you, again, it's very similar to what you'll see in the browser, almost identical, except for there's some additional controls up here. It at least gives you, access to Google Docs kind of within an app-like interface.
You think when Google Drive comes to the iPad, we'll get a standalone app, or will it be bundled in this guy?
No,
I guess both.
I think we will. This is the other thing, is that you can dictate to this. Now, if you've got Siri, I don't know why we got this.
When you do a Google search,
I said I think we will.
I think we will.
I think we will.
Result, it has to do with potty training.
Potty training. It's fascinating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
But it does do the voice, which is kind of nice. You just tap the microphone. I am searching for Sarah Lane right now. And you see it does a pretty good job.
It's funny. I was used to hearing the Siri doo-doo.
Right. So if you don't have Siri...
Hey, wow, that was pretty good.
Which you don't on the iPad, at least you got something. I mean, you have to launch an app and everything.
What I like about that Google app, and I've actually said this before, it's kind of like, you know, having a Chromebook.
Yes.
It's sort of everything.
Once you're in it,
Chromebook
you're in it.
Is.
Yeah.
If you like the Google experience, that's certainly the all-in-one app to
I have a very good friend who uses that instead of Safari. That's kind of how she surfs, is through the Google app.
It's fine. Makes sense.
Finally, there's Google Currents.
Yeah, Google Currents is...
I love this.
It's overlooked by a lot of people.
This is fairly new, and I just think this is, you know, when we said they don't do good apps, this might be the exception. This is another very nice
It's
mobile
very
app.
nice. Now, when you first sign up for Google Currents, you're just using your Google credentials. So it knows all of your information, but what it'll try to do is populate your feed with a bunch of stuff that you may or may not want to be in your feed. So if for whatever reason I, don't like the Daily Beast, I can certainly go in and remove that. But they just, they want to give you an experience off the bat. Most of these
it's very
are actually
Flipboard-like,
feeds.
isn't it?
Yeah, they're feeds from my Google Reader.
Right.
So I've gone in and said, yeah, please hook up my Google Reader to, in fact, if I want to do that, how do I do that? Trending. search. Yeah. So these are some featured news sources, stuff that's recommended, news, business design, blah blah blah. So it gives me a good. Hey, do you like PRI? Go ahead and add it. And they say add it for free. Google wants to make sure for sure that you don't think that you're subscribing to anything.
Yeah.
But then I have Google Reader, and Google Reader knows what I subscribe to. If I want to read something through Google Reader, there's a lot of tech stuff, some food-based blogs, people that I know.
It's not the best
so on.
Google Reader app, but it does give you at least that interface to Google Reader. I mean, we talked about a much better app, for instance. What is it, Mr. News, Mr. Read?
Mr. Reader?
Mr. Read.
Mr. Reader.
Yeah. But this is something, what I like about this is the trending button.
Yeah.
So there's a couple
cool
other
too.
things you could do with this. You can add a Google Plus feed. So I follow Mike Elgin, Robert Scoble, Tim O'Reilly, because they say interesting things. But you can also look at trending, and that will aggregate top stories. I think it's using Google Plus on this, but I'm not sure. Based on trends on Google Plus. So this, and again, I love this display. I love how the interface. It's easy to read.
I think it's Google Plus and just Google searches in general.
Yeah.
So here's what's cool. Here's a especially cool thing is, let's say, okay, I'm going to go into infographics. This is a article that's on Good Magazine. Oh, actually, no, that's not a good example because it's not pulling up a term. It's pulling up infographics.
I like that, though. That's kind of fun. You can just browse infographics.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Okay,
I searched for George Clooney, and look what I'm getting.
What?
Lots of stuff.
Oh, yeah. So okay.
Stories
so
about George Clooney.
So you look at George
right?
Clooney, and you're now in the Stories tab, so it's all the stories that have to do with George Clooney.
And then,
you go into user-generated.
I love user-generated.
This is all, like,
people,
videos and stuff that's been uploaded that is George Clooney related. And then if you click on About on the right-hand tab, then it's like information about what George Clooney has done in the news. Sometimes he kind of is like in the news for political reasons.
I think this is just
sometimes
really
for acting
spectacular.
reasons. So it's like a Wikipedia / stories / trending topics type thing, and it's all in the Google universe, which clearly is pulling from quite a bit of data.
I use this all the time. If I want to follow news sources and so forth, it has the capability of sharing both to Google Plus and email, although you'll see when you add the more, you can then add Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instapaper for you. Mm-hmm. Read it later. Mm-hmm. And Pinboard, which I use, and I'm really glad that Pinboard's built into here.
I do love, though, when you first pull it up, it says, oh, would you like to share with Google or email?
Yeah. And that's it.
I guess maybe you could have more options. Here are all the other services that you might also want to use besides Google Plus.
They really promote Google Plus a little heavy-handedly, if you ask me.
And that bothers me, but it's not as if Facebook doesn't do the same thing.
Everybody does it. Right?
Twitter is not so pushy. Have you noticed that? I find that when I have the option to connect via Facebook or Twitter credentials, I always choose Twitter. I don't know why. I don't like it better. It's just totally different.
See, I always use Facebook.
Why?
It doesn't matter. I don't know. I've kind of become a Facebook fan, believe it or not.
Well, I kind of have
because that's
to.
where everybody is.
Yeah. I get a lot out of it, I'll have to say.
You can customize that menu, by the way, if you go to the Customize. If you go to the second menu and then press the Customize button, and you could say, no, I want to show Facebook. I don't want to show Google+. I want to show Pinboard, but I don't want to show Twitter, that kind of thing. So you do get to completely customize. I'm going to hide. I won't hide email. So now in this menu, I'm going to get the things that I use.
No one wants you to email them any of this.
I send you articles all the time.
It's
and you
true.
hate it, don't you?
No, I don't hate it. Because it's for the show.
So
that's here's a direct link for our show.
You can tell me. Don't
you? No. For the show purposes, it's great because I cut and paste and then I got the link.
But what if it's not for when I send you articles about funny cat pictures?
You don't. Thank you.
And now you know why.
In advance for not doing that. Speaking of cat pictures, can we just look at a really cute cat really quick?
Yeah, who's that?
Hey, guy.
That's from Google Currents.
Yeah.
So they even have...
That came through on 500 pics.
They even have cat pictures.
Yeah. That's how you know it's a good app. By the way, all of these are free. Google+, Gmail, Google Currents, Google Catalogs. I am a huge fan of Google Catalogs. Talked about this. I might have talked about it the week that you
have you? Because I like.
Oh my goodness gracious! That stupid Bluetooth keyboard.
Oh, here I'll show it. I got it here.
Let me turn Bluetooth off.
Land's End, Garnet Hill. What's your favorite? I think you're an Abercrombie and Fitch girl.
Ew. Well,
Anthropologie.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, baby.
Open it up.
I don't see it. Where is it? Little Mismatched. This is you. Little mismatched. It's for small people.
Wait, basically what
usually
these
under
are,
10.
it'll take a minute to load because it's got to pull in.
Well, it's downloading the full catalog.
It's the entire catalog that the catalog that they give you when you're at the counter at Crate and Barrel, and they stick it in your shopping bag, or you get it in the mail. I never want a catalog in the mail again. They're bulky. They're a waste of paper. I hate them.
Well,
however, I like catalogs.
Right.
And
So this way
sometimes
you get them
shopping
both.
online is like, it's fine.
And you can tap
But I like the catalog thing.
and see. You can buy on a website, find nearby. I mean, I think this is a nice. Now, just a reminder, we did recommend an app that is a good iPad app. It's an iPhone app, but it works fine on the iPad, called Paper Karma. That if you don't want to get catalogs, you just take a picture.
You're right.
It's free with Paper Karma of anything of junk mail you're getting that you don't want, and Paper Karma will cancel those, and you won't get them anymore. It's kind of a cool thing. Paper Karma, free on the App Store. Can I show one more thing? It's not a Google app, but I think people are going to ask us, okay, I use Google Calendar. What's the best way to interface? And there's so many. There's Calendgoo. There's a lot of apps, and even the built-in app will do the calendar. We've mentioned it before, but I think Agenda, which is the calendar you and I both use, because it's so clean, fresh, easy to use, it syncs beautifully with Google Calendar.
Yes.
One tip, though. Can I give people a tip? Do you have time?
Yeah. This is your show.
Your show. I'm just here.
You're just living in
I'm
it.
just here to keep the seat warm.
Okay.
If you are not syncing all your calendars, it's because you have to tell Google what calendars you want to sync on each device.
Made that mistake before, and I was like, why don't I see
Isn't it
my
weird?
dentist appointment?
It will drive you crazy until you know this, and they don't really make it. So you on your mobile device, you don't do this on the desktop unless you know how to trick Safari into looking like it's mobile Safari.
Right.
But on your mobile device, go to m.google.com/sync. You'll have to log into your Google account, and then you'll see all the devices that you log into Google from, including, you see, unfortunately, and I haven't figured out how to get rid of these devices that I haven't used in 4 years, like my old iPhone. Look for it, and they don't really use a good naming scheme. All of them are called iPhone. All of them are called iPad, but it does show you the last sync. So look for the iPad that synced the most recently, 2010, 2012, May 10th, that one. And then tap the button, and it'll show you your calendars, and only one will be checked by default. You'll have to go through and say, oh, no, these are the calendars I want to sync. These are the calendars I don't want to sync. From then on, whatever program you're using that syncs to Google Calendar will include these calendars. So you've got to do this. You may also want to enable send mail as for this device and delete mail as email as trash for your Google email. That's a very handy thing to have as well. So just m.google.com/sync, a little tip there on how you get all of those calendars. And then I think Agenda, which is a couple of bucks, is just a beautiful way to keep track of.
On the iPhone, it's also nice, but on the iPad, you really
look at that.
Yeah, you've got a bunch of room. I have shied away from Google Calendar in the past because there just wasn't anything that looked very nice, and
this is so great.
For when it comes to calendars, something you got to look at all the time.
I agree.
I really think that design is important. That it helps me stay organized, or I'm just not going to look at it.
I've become such a fan of this.
It's great. You can look by day, by week, by month, by year. It's awesome.
That's Agenda, and it is my pick, and I think yours too, for using Google Calendar on the iPad.
Absolutely. So we talked about a bunch of apps just now. If you missed anything, don't worry about it. We'll have them all in our show notes. If you want to know where to get those show notes, twit.tv/IPT, the letter I, the letter P, the letter T, is our email address. That's where all of our shows live, with all the information of all apps, all stories, interesting people, videos, etc. that we talk about in every show.
It's worth watching every show. If you missed one, you got to go back and look.
Yeah, in fact, it's funny. We get emails from people who will suggest apps that we've talked about in the past, and they're like, I found this awesome app. It's really great. You'll love it. And I go, we do. We talked about it in episode 47, which was a long time ago. And hopefully then that person will go back and watch it.
I also got a tweet just the other day from somebody saying, just got my first iPad. What apps do you recommend? And so I linked them back. We've done at least two, maybe more shows of must-have apps for the iPad.
Yeah. We kind of do. That's sort of a reoccurring thing every time a new iPad version comes out. Yeah. Because we figure there are going to be a lot of people with new iPads looking at it saying, where do I start? So yes, that's twit.tv/IPT. That's our show. We got links there to subscribe. We've got our video nicely embedded. It's just a good time all around. By the way, speaking of subscribing, guess who's featured on iTunes this week?
In Australia.
No. iPad Today is featured in iTunes.
In the U.S.?
Yes.
Because somebody emailed me and said it was in Australia.
No, they said Twitphoto.
Oh, Twitphoto.
Which is
that's
true.
Right.
Twitphoto was featured last week, I believe.
Well, thank you, iTunes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, we're right front and center. It was kind of fun. So, yes, you can find us on iTunes
sorry,
as well. Subscribe.
If I'd been paying attention, I would know, but I was a little distracted.
Look.
I was watching CNN.
Look. Oh, CNN.
Yeah.
See, look. Hey, look at us.
That's us.
That's fun.
Right there.
Yeah.
You and me on the front page of iTunes.
Why were you watching CNN while I was talking? That's so rude.
Well, sometimes I'm worried about breaking news.
Well, I guess in this business.
Actually, I shouldn't have. I just changed to high quality. There we go. And look how good this looks. And how do you think I'm watching this? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not watching some Fakatka CNN feed on the web. I'm watching the actual CNN from my home TV set.
Look, they're talking about Clooney. We can't get away from this guy
See, George
today.
Clooney's everywhere. That's because Obama raised $15 million.
Clooney paid $15 million to have dinner with Obama?
No.
Maybe it's the other way around.
I was getting SMS messages all last week while I was in Norway saying, last chance to get in the contest to win dinner with George Clooney and the president. And I'm not sure which was a bigger draw, George or the president. I think it was George.
I would pay everything to have dinner with George. He wouldn't get much.
You know, they say I'm the fat George Clooney. Have you ever... Look at that look.
They say a lot, don't they?
I don't know who they is. So that was a very skeptical look you just gave me.
It's the first I've heard. It'll take me a while, but I'm sure I'll start seeing the resemblance eventually.
Anyway, so I'm watching CNN, and I'm doing it on my iPad because I've got the Slingbox set up at home. And the Slingbox is you hook it up to your DVR, your satellite box, your cable box, whatever's in your home theater, and then you hook that up, the Slingbox, to the internet. And now anywhere you go, you're basically logging into your home theater system, and anything you could do at home, you can watch on the road.
And it doesn't have to be live. It's like anything you DVR.
That's the coolest thing. You can watch on the DVR, absolutely. And look at the quality. I mean, it's really, really good.
So you're in Norway and you're watching CNN, and they're telling you about George Clooney and Obama. Way to live, man. Way to go nuts.
It was, sometimes you...
Hey,
this happens when you travel. You get a little homesick.
Yeah.
And I just want a little dose of America.
Yeah, yep. You want a piece of home.
Something without fish
Patriotic
in it.
man.
And,
something without fish.
Something without fish in it. And so Slingbox, no, for instance, if you want to, okay, you're right. Web90 says you're not the George Clooney of Twit, you're the George Costanza.
Oh, you got
That's
the George
what I meant.
Now that I can see. Yeah.
Thanks. Slingbox.com/twit to find out more. I guess that's true. More, isn't it? Yeah.
It's not true.
They have it available on the iPhone, the iPad, the Android devices, of course, your computers. It's just really, really sweet. You've got to give it a try. Visit Slingbox. Get a Slingbox. They're available at Amazon and Best Buy. Hook it up to your system, and then wherever you go, you can watch your TV. It's great for when the big game's on and you're at the ballpark. You want to see replays. If you're going to miss a big show and you want to take it with you, you can.
And the iPad app is free. It's not like you're paying a subscription fee or anything.
It's not free. The iPad app is $30.
Oh. Fee.
Yeah, you pay once.
Flat fee.
You don't pay a monthly fee because you already pay your cable bill, right?
Yes.
So it's everything that you have at home. Slingbox.com/twit.
So, acquisition time. Guess who bought Penultimate? Penultimate, of course, is a sketching program.
We talked about it as one of our picks for a great notebook
It's
program.
a very nice one.
Yeah.
Guess who Penultimate belongs to now?
George Clooney?
No. Well, eventually we all belong to George Clooney. But for now, Penultimate has been sold to Evernote.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm not sure. Evernote bought Sketch, you may remember, a little while ago, which is a drawing program.
Well, it's a drawing program, and it's also like an annotation on photos.
And they said the reason that they bought Penultimate is because of its handwriting recognition.
Yeah, so Penultimate is, as you can see, it's a way to take notes. I'm actually using it. It wants to be used in portrait mode, but it works fine sideways. This is one of my notebooks. I can look and see some of my other notebooks that I've made. I have a tummy ache. That's what I wrote earlier. And you get the idea. This is just it's a.
Can I just ask you why you wrote "ugh tummy ache"?
I don't. Just because it's for testing purposes. I had a tummy ache
It wasn't
at
like
the time,
you weren't
so
driving
that's what I
down
wrote.
the road and you held this up to the guy in the car next to you or something like that. Because that's what. No.
That'd be so weird. That'd be like maybe the weirdest thing you've ever seen, right? If someone does that while they're driving. But the idea behind Evernote is a place to save a bunch of stuff. You know, you're kind of clipping stuff as you go along online, whether it's articles or photos. Or
Sorry, I didn't mean to get into your shot.
What are you doing?
I've sat on my
You're readjusting.
I unplugged my headphones.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Keep
but
talking.
now Evernote clearly is going to be incorporating Penultimate into things that you can jot down on the go. Because right now Evernote is not so much a free-form drawing program or notes program. And they say Penultimate is not going away. It will still be a freestanding app if that's what you want. The fact that we own it is not a big deal, but we'll be able to incorporate their technology in a lot of our properties. And Evernote is kind of on a buying spree. I mean, they want to be a lot of stuff. In fact,
you know why? They just got a bunch more money.
They did. You're right.
So they can afford to buy stuff.
That's correct. If you go to the Evernote, where's the Evernote?
They recently updated their Mac app. I don't know if they've updated
the Evernote trunk. If you go to your Evernote trunk, which is the little guy on the left right-hand side, you get a good idea of all the stuff that links with Evernote.
It's amazing.
Which can be very helpful because there's a good chance that you're using some of these services.
Right.
But the Buy Evernote tab over on the right-hand side is actually Evernote apps that they've made or they've acquired, and then like cool stuff like, hey, do you want to know how to use Evernote with your Android tablet? Maybe you just haven't gotten there yet, or you haven't gotten into the groove. What you kind of need to do with Evernote, you have to sort of say, I'm going to commit to this service, and that's how it becomes indispensable for you. But now Penultimate is under the Evernote umbrella, so that's awesome. Phil Libin is such a cool dude. I always get the sense that it's always coming from the right place with him. He's the founder of Evernote.
We interviewed him when we were at Low Web. Well, I'm sure we'll interview him again. And we had him scheduled. It was funny. We had him scheduled for Triangulation. He canceled it last minute. And then we found out that they had just raised like $100 million. And I think it was like, he's got other things to do that day.
Or someone said, would you like to be in a quiet period? Because that's what we'd like for you to do.
Because I think that they are probably going to issue stock and go public at some point.
Evernote, growing like a weed.
Yep. Good company. We like them.
Indeed. Another company that's growing like a weed, you might have heard of it. It's called Facebook. It's a yearbook thing to stalk people. No, Facebook Messenger, that app, which is, we talked about it.
I still don't understand why it's a separate app.
Well, the reason it's a separate app is because it can replace the need to SMS, the need to text. Now, iPad to iPad, we could use messages.
Right.
Obviously.
But this you could use in the phone system as well.
Exactly. So it's phone, it's iPad, it's device, basically, or web, so that you have quick, short messages back and forth on anything.
Sounds like something everybody should have, actually.
Oh, yeah. Messenger's great because you just, I hate texting. So this is like the messages I've had recently with people. What they have added
And you prefer
is,
to Apple's Messages program, just because it's more
Apple's
flexible.
Messages program is a mess.
Yeah,
And
agree.
I think we can all agree that whatever's going on over there, they are like clearly in beta mode, and it should say beta square on it, because I'll start a conversation with somebody and then it'll show as unread when I go back to that same message on the MacBook. Like the syncing is bizarre
Drives
in
me
messages.
crazy.
It's fine on Facebook
Now,
Messenger.
As you can see, Messenger is a iPhone, not an iPad app, but you find it usable.
Perfectly fine. Look at it. It even auto rotates.
Yeah.
So this,
which is a nice thing.
The iPhone app, they don't usually do that,
right.
but it's fine. But this is a nice little. Ewan, I hope it's cool, and I'm showing our conversation. We weren't really talking about anything interesting. But I can see that he's online, but it will also give me an option to see where he is. And if I send him a message, you know how sometimes you'll see that people are online on Facebook chat, and you send a message and you don't hear anything back, and you think, maybe they're away from the computer or something. You can see if they've read your message. Now, that might be a little invasive for you.
No, I like that.
But it might come in handy. That is something that Facebook Messenger has added to the newest version. So something to keep in mind. If you use it, it just got better. If you don't use it, then maybe it's an incentive to start.
And it has notifications, and it does group messaging, which is nice. Which I guess is because they bought Beluga, another company we liked a lot, and they incorporated Beluga group messaging.
It's similar to GroupMe as well. I mean, Facebook Messenger is certainly not the only SMS alternative, but it is one where you're most likely to have the largest amount of people who are already also on the service because it's just connected to your Facebook account.
I just reinstalled it. I just thought, I don't need it.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
You're going to love it.
I just sent you a message.
Great. I look forward to receiving it. You'll know that I didn't receive it yet because...
Oh, really? It'll say...
I didn't look at it yet.
Right.
You know, another thing that Facebook is doing, and this is strange a little bit, is they're launching their own app center. But it's not that they're competing with the iOS store.
This is so weird.
They're just pointing to the iOS store for apps that use Facebook Connect to log in. So this is a way for Facebook to say, hey, we're the place to come when you want to download an app. If you're looking for Pinterest, let's say, Pinterest will be in the Facebook App Center. They don't call it an app store, they call it an app center. But then when you say, yeah, I want this, it'll bump you over to the iOS store or Android or Google Play Store if you're on an Android device.
This makes me nervous. There's something... it's very strange that they're doing this.
Well, don't you think that Facebook has an incentive to have us using as many apps as possible that use Facebook login?
Right.
Of course. And that's the only kind of app that can be in the Facebook App Center is apps that use Facebook login.
Right.
Now,
so it's an incentive for other apps to use it, too, because you get promotion.
Yeah. Think about all the people who are going to be downloading apps via Facebook.
Right.
Another thing that Facebook is allowing, though, is HTML5 apps, web apps. And they're allowing developers to charge. That's a new thing. They're going to take 30%. Now, this will bypass anything like iOS entirely. So if you sort of look down the horizon, you see, Facebook eventually doesn't want you to be dependent on the Apple App Store at all. But for now, they are playing nice. It's kind of interesting.
That's very interesting. And there isn't a marketplace, I don't think, for HTML5 apps in general. I mean, there's the Chrome marketplace, things like that. But that's kind of an interesting play on their part.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sat there and I was like, okay, let me think of the HTML5 apps that I would buy through Facebook.
They're just web apps, basically.
Yeah.
They're not...
Right.
Yeah, they run on any browser.
They're just not tied to a proprietary app store. So Facebook, they're obviously, they have incentive to have people using Facebook in a variety of ways. They're about to go public. Kind of makes sense. It's a shrewd move, Facebook. It's a shrewd move. But for now... look for the App Center. Not live quite yet, but will be soon. Got an Ask Leo from Jennifer, who says, my new iPad is set to call itself Jen M's iPad, but I didn't name it that. How do I change it? I tried changing my signature, which worked for just one area, but then it didn't stick. I could ask Apple, but maybe you guys know.
It gets the name from when you sync it to iTunes.
Right.
And so it's using the name that you might notice it's the same name that your Macintosh has. So your Macintosh is probably, or your Windows machine is probably called Jen M's computer or Jen M's Macintosh. And that's where it gets the name. Now, how do you change the name? It's pretty simple. If you go to the settings, the general settings, and about, you'll see the name. In my case, Leo's iPad 3. Wait a minute. It can't be called an iPad 3. It has to be called Leo's new iPad. There, I've changed the name, and that's all there is to it. Now it's called Leo's new iPad. And then it says I can't find anybody on Friends.
Can't access Find My Friends.
Because I don't have any friends.
Well, no, you and I are connected. I know where you are at all times.
I don't know where you
are. I'm not going to say, but I know.
Well, let me log in and see where... I got to find out where Sarah is.
Right here.
I think you and Tom Merritt are the only friends I have.
You and Tom Merritt and MG are my only friends.
Yeah. It's just
and
not
neither
a big...
of you are at all relevant to me.
I know. We don't really care.
When's he coming home? Where is it?
Yeah.
So we got another email from MM. That's like MM.
MM.
Whatever. MM says, this is about the show 2 weeks ago. You were still on vacation. MG and I showed off the Bridge Kickstarter project, which turns your iPad into a MacBook Air.
Oh.
Or something similar. MM says, hasn't the Bridge already been done like twice?
Like you just showed it.
The Zag Folio, which I have, the Kensington Key Folio, the Logitech wireless Bluetooth keyboard that's also a case. They all do the same thing. Now, here's you're right that they're all extremely similar products. Here, this is the Zag.
Which one should I buy, I guess is my question.
Well, I think it depends on the look, the feel, and what exactly you're looking for. So like the Keyfolio and the Zags right now.
They're all about $100.
They're all around there.
They all perform both as Bluetooth keyboards and, in most cases, a kind of a case.
A case or, a cover of some kind.
Yeah.
There are different levels of... The Logitech is one that isn't so malleable, I guess.
Right.
But it's really solid. I mean, I liked that one a lot. But the Bridge...
Yeah, I don't get it. We already have this. Why do this project?
Well, the Bridge is...
It looks like an Air.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you're paying for.
And you're going to pay more for it.
You're going to pay $150 for the no speakers version.
Right. Oh, it has speakers? That's different too.
Yeah, stereo speakers for more. For more.
Like that.
That's the more expensive version. But
because the iPad speaker, and I say that singularly because there's only one.
There's only one.
It's not very good.
No, it's not even in stereo.
Yeah, the iPad 1 had much better speakers than the iPad 2 and 3.
We went backwards.
By the way, I found out where you are.
For a space issue. Where am I?
You're right here. But oddly enough, Tom Merritt is back in the alley. He must be smoking a cig.
Wherever you go, there you are.
You're right next to me.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I know.
Who would have thought?
It's so accurate. That is weird. Oh, hi, Tom.
Tom's out in the alley.
This is awkward.
Okay,
I wish he'd stop
so his
smoking.
iPad's out in the alley.
He's going to lose a lung, you know?
No, he doesn't smoke.
He does.
You know what's interesting? Nobody here smokes.
Burke does. Sorry.
Burke is the
And
only
apparently,
one. Burke is the only one.
Sorry, Burke. We just outed you.
Burke is the
Stop
only guy.
smoking. You know what? Peer pressure. Peer pressure. You want to be one of us? You put that damn butt out. Stop the pipe.
What did he say? He smokes a pipe?
I don't know. I don't have any idea who smokes and who doesn't, but smoking's bad for you. So, you're right. A lot of these products do very similar things, but if you want something
new.
that's
That's something a little
cosmetically
different.
like a MacBook Air,
Yeah.
it's a fun project. By the way, they wanted $90,000, and they're up to like $500,000 with time to go.
I gotta come up with something, some Kickstarter thing.
Yeah, look at this. $553,000. Well, here's the problem, Leo, is that you think like, oh, wow, look at the profit. But now they just have to make more stuff. They've got all these people who have put money into it.
You don't have to do anything. You take the money and go.
That's not how it works.
There's no, I'm telling you. You don't have to do anything.
That's not how it works.
You can. I want everybody who knows there is nothing. Read it carefully. There's no protection. If somebody takes money on Kickstarter, they can walk away.
Okay, but that's not what you should be encouraging people to do.
There may be peer pressure.
Mob pressure. Baseball bat pressure.
Right.
It hurts.
But I don't believe there is any... in fact, one developer, we were talking about this yesterday and this week in Google, said, I'm not going to do the project, and said, but I'm going to give your money to charity, so what charity should I give it to? No, I want my money back. No.
That is a bummer.
Yeah, I don't think... That's something people should be aware of. I love Kickstarter. I think it's a great idea.
Right.
But there's a certain amount of trust that's going on.
Sure. But I think you would say that about sort of any service where people say, please, everyone pitch in.
Send me some money.
And I won't go to the horse races with this money. And sometimes you go to the horse races and you say, that sucks. I wish I could have trusted you more.
Remember Diaspora? That was the first Kickstarter project I was aware of. That
what
was the one.
What happened to Diaspora?
Well, I might... Okay.
No, it's not.
I gave them like $500.
They didn't walk away with a bunch of money. They're just slow to advance, I guess.
No, there's a site.
Yeah. No, I know. I kind of forgot about it until you said that just now.
That was the
what does
Facebook.
That tell you?
And this was in the days when we wanted a Facebook competitor. Now we don't care anymore. Facebook won.
Yeah. It was kind of like, okay, Facebook,
it's over.
We've thrown in the towel. Let's just, if you can't beat it, embrace it.
Yeah.
So we got another email from JP who says, I'm a big fan of iPad today. I look forward to your show each week. Thank you, JP. In last week's episode, you talked about Tweetbot and the ability to put your place in the timeline by using sync between the app on the iPhone and the iPad. By the way, a lot of people wrote in to us and said, where can you do that? How can you do that? We cannot find
I didn't know either.
Yeah, no, it's a really, really good feature, especially if you use Tweetbot in a couple different locations. But JP correctly points out there are two ways to do this. The first method uses iCloud, which maintains the data for the user.
Okay.
But the second method uses the Tweetmarker service, and this is cool because if another app also uses Tweetmarker, then you can use a Tweetmarker-compatible app on your desktop or your laptop, like a Svpply also uses Tweetmarker, and now your place is saved in multi third-party Twitter apps.
That's kind of cool.
So really quick, let me just show you if you're like...
So I'm in Tweetbox. Show me how to do this.
Okay, so Tweetbot, open it up. And it's time to go into
I did the settings.
Load, load, go into your settings. In your settings, you go to your account settings. Got it? So go into Leo Laporte or Sarah Lane. Then you go into your sync settings.
I'm in iCloud. But now, do I have to sign up for Tweetmarker?
Yeah, Tweetmarker it's a separate service, but it doesn't cost anything. And if there is another application that uses Tweetmarker, now you've got sync between the two.
That is really
So I don't have a list in front of me of all the apps that use Tweetmarker, but Svpply, a couple people wrote in.
I love Svpply. That's actually another very good Twitter client.
Wouldn't you like to just, more sync is better when it comes to Twitter because there's just so much information.
So the idea is that it jumps you to the last thing you read.
That's right.
So you don't have to say, oh, I read this on the iPad, but it doesn't know I read it.
Because you know how it goes. You log in several hours later. You jump to the top of your feed, and it's like you lose a big chunk of information.
Right. And then for $2 a month, you can have Tweetmarker Plus,
which does what? A web-based timeline.
I don't know, but they say there are 17 apps. Look at all the apps that Twitterific, Twittolator, Svpply, Teletweet, Tweetbot, Tweet Library, Syrinx. Tweeter Lite, Tweetings.
Isn't that great?
Tweetcaster. I use many of these actually myself.
Yeah.
Plume.
So if you have Tweetbot on 2 different devices, you can certainly use iCloud, but you can also use Tweetmarker. So thank you to JP for pointing that out because that is a cool functionality for anybody who's using Tweetmarker somewhere else. By the way, Joe from Staten Island wrote in the exact same thing, but he also wrote in that we have a canine viewer named Buddy. Who loves the show.
Buddy was my grandma dog name.
Look at Buddy.
He loves you.
Well, he loves you too. That's just a screen grab of me.
Well.
Look at Bud.
We don't know.
But apparently we put Buddy to sleep. I don't know if that's good or not. We haven't showed a pet of the week in a while.
Cute. It looks like he's actually watching the show.
You're ours.
He really does look like he's watching the show.
Well, maybe he is. Maybe we were soothing to Buddy.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt it, but maybe we are.
Hey, let me try something.
Okay.
Hey, buddy, come here, boy. Come here, buddy. Come here. Got a treat for you. Come here, buddy. Poop on the rug. Come here, buddy. Let's see what happens.
I was trying to whistle, but I don't know how to whistle.
That's terrible. You don't know how to whistle?
No. I can make one. That's all I can do.
Here, buddy.
Bud.
Bud.
Come on, Bud.
Come on, buddy. Hop up on the couch.
I feel like there's just a dog that's going to
chew up that cushion.
No, don't. Quickly, Eric, he put on an investigative hat.
Yeah.
And he sent us a video.
Okay.
Roll it.
Let's see it.
Chad?
I was using the Bump app on my new iPad and noticed that the display of the iPhone app on an iPad is actually a lot larger than it is on the actual iPhone itself.
Huh.
I'm not sure if I'm the first person to notice this. But it seems to be a tell of why the iPhone 5 could be a lot larger and not segment the market. For example,
I see what he's saying.
Bump.
Interesting.
Running on my iPhone.
Yes.
And running on the iPad 1.
Uh-huh.
You notice that they're lined up at the top.
Yes.
The iPad
has more room.
Is actually a lot larger.
Yeah.
A lot longer, a lot wider. Mm-hmm. Not sure if I'm the first person to notice this, but they're actually both very crisp. And the iPad 1 is an even Retina display. Seems pretty obvious that the iPhone 5 could be a lot larger and not run into any segmenting of the market.
Or,
again, love the show.
That the mini iPad rumored to be out possibly later this year, although I don't think that's true.
They're talking about that this fall.
7-inch, perhaps.
Yeah. I don't buy it either.
Doesn't
sound right. Why would Apple do that?
I don't know. It's like fall is for a new iPhone. Let's just one thing at a time.
We don't know anything, but
No.
I agree with you. It doesn't seem likely that they will do a 7-inch iPad.
But it does seem likely that if that were to happen, it would be convenient to have apps be able to fit
scale.
a variety of screens.
There was also the issue that maybe the new iPhone would have a bigger screen, and that was the debate as well.
Sure.
Is that going to fragment the market because you'll have an iPhone
Doesn't look
4
like it.
that's 3.5 inches and maybe a 4-inch iPhone 5?
Yeah.
No.
Doesn't seem to make much difference at all. They're obviously thinking about this.
Yep.
We want to hear from you. We love featuring your content, as you know. Write us at iPadToday@twit.tv. You can leave us a voicemail at 757-504-IPAD. Voicemails are fun. Just don't hang up, because you do that a lot. And
really? We get a lot of hang-ups?
it's because I have a stupid message and I still haven't changed it. And
You've been
every time
complaining
I
about that
say
for 100
I'm
episodes.
profoundly lazy. That's just the way it goes. Or you can send us a link. We love a video link. We love videos. Just make sure that you send us a link. Don't
Not
send
the
us
video.
a file.
It's too
'cause
big.
Then I have to delete it because it's an attachment and I don't want to open that. Just upload the video somewhere and then send us a link to where that video is located. And a reminder, if you're not watching us live, we record the show 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays. You're looking at me like, yeah, whatever.
No, I'm just listening. I'm just listening. I'm
So,
enjoying the show.
I'm glad.
You know, you can be on a show. I don't know if you know this.
And also enjoy it.
And enjoy it.
I know.
You could actually be like a viewer, but you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's what I am.
Okay, so I'm going to now view you.
Okay, it's your turn to enjoy the show as I talk about Squarespace.com. Don't look at me like that.
Sorry.
She's making me laugh.
Make them laugh, make them laugh, make them laugh.
Squarespace.com is everything you need for a great website. Of course, the great hosting that Squarespace is famous for. You cannot bring a Squarespace site down. That's because they use a very sophisticated kind of virtual server technology that gives you the bandwidth you need when you need it, like that. They also have great software running on it, and the software is tightly integrated with the hosting. You get a lot of benefits there, not just performance, not just reliability, but absolute security, too. They manage it. They keep it secure. They keep it patched. You don't have to worry about that. And in this day and age, that's huge. The software is fantastic, too. You've got 85-plus custom styles designed by professional designers, some of the best names in the business. You've got an iPhone app, an Android app, and an iPad app that makes it easy to post, to moderate comments, to check your stats. Great stats, too. You know everything about what's going on with your site. They do a lot of search engine optimization, or SEO, for instance, automatic site maps. And it's just, I could go on and on, but really the best thing to do is to go to squarespace.com, click that green Try It Free button. You got the run of the site for 2 weeks. You don't need to give them a credit card, just your name, your email address, and a password, the name of your site, and you can play with it. Now, if you decide after you play with it that you want to keep going, it's really, it's a really great way to kind of just mess with site designs for free, and they really don't mind if you do that. But take a look at the pricing page, because they've redone their pricing. It is so affordable. Starts at $8 a month for the basic standards Squarespace. If you want unlimited, a mere $16 a month gets you unlimited pages, unlimited bandwidth, unlimited storage, all the features you'd want. It's an incredible deal, and if you use the offer code iPad today, it gets even better, because you'll get 10% off your first purchase. And when you buy an annual plan, they will do the domain registration for you, hook it up and everything. So you can have sarahswebpage.com or whatever it is, and they'll automatically make it work so that it goes right to your Squarespace site. They'll pay the domain registration fee and everything. That's just for the month of May, though, so take advantage of it now. Go to squarespace.com, and if you decide you want to buy, make sure you use the offer code iPadToday5, the number 5 for May, the month of May. iPadToday5. Sank. Oh, you're practicing your French, aren't you? Because you're going to the south of France.
My French is so bad.
Why don't you go and set up a Squarespace site? It could be Sarah in the south of France or something like that. And you could put pictures up there. For a trip, this is the neat thing about Squarespace is it's great for just like a purpose-built site.
Oh, my gosh.
This is my trip.
It can be, just like a really interesting photo collage. That looks amazing.
They've got great galleries, yeah. Absolutely.
Or if you want to sell your stuff, if you actually want to take it seriously,
so
you can do that
when
too.
Are you not going to be here in the middle of June?
At the end of June.
So we're going to have to find a...
We're going to have to figure it out, yeah. It's going to be tough.
I'll have MG on.
For
He's
you.
so good when I'm not
No, he'll
here.
be with me in the south of France.
Damn it.
Darn it. Darn it.
I think I knew that. Is it time for my hat?
Yeah. Are you ready?
I can't decide what to wear.
So I'm so excited for my app cap. Will you give me a hat too?
Oh, you don't have one? I think you would look cute. I wore this last week, but I think you look cute.
This is really
It's very
me.
mod. Isn't that cute?
Yeah,
You
I
look
love
mod. You don't like it? I got another one.
That's fine.
You could wear this one.
I don't want that. It's too hot.
This has Morse
I'm
code.
dying of heat right now.
This has Morse code on.
I'm absolutely
It says
dying.
twit in Morse code.
Oh no, I do like that one. It's a little hot though.
Yeah, no.
So let's get to our app cap. This is
about
the
this?
app cap awards. This is the part of the show. I don't want these wintry hats.
Here, how about this? You want this? Clearly
No,
you want my summer
I don't want
hat.
that. No,
Okay.
this is fine. This is fine. This is part of the show where we crown an app cap winner. Doesn't have to be anything in particular except a cool app that we like. So I'm going to start off with an app called Svpply. How do you think that's spelled, first of all?
Supply.
You'd be wrong. Wrong.
There's
it's
a Y?
Svpply. Very Roman. Very Yeah.
How am I supposed to know how to spell that?
That's just you have to remember. This is for our audio listeners too, because it would be hard to look for otherwise.
Svpply.
That's right. Svpply.
Svpply.
This is an all-in-one shop till you drop app. And the reason I say that is because I'm just looking through, let's go to my feed. So I'm just going to start scrolling through stuff that people that I know, I'm actually logged in through Twitter, but you can log in through Facebook as well. People that I know have liked, wanted, collected.
So this is a little Pinteresty.
Yeah, but Pinterest is not necessarily just to buy things. These are all things that are on sale somewhere on the internet.
Oh, they're on sale.
Yes. It's a shopping experience. What's cool about this is when I get to the bottom of my feed,
This is a long way.
it continues to scroll and load. So it's actually an endless scrolling
feed?
experience.
If you don't do what Sarah did and go too fast.
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously.
You went too fast. You're not supposed to get to the bottom of your feed.
Well, I did that to show you that
it does.
It will just keep going.
Right.
So there's no sort of like page 3 or
Right.
where
I
was
like that.
I?
I think all
do
apps
too.
should be like that.
I do too, especially if you want to kind of go down the shopping well, which we all do at time to time. If I just want to go ahead and shop, I was in women's, but let's get out of that. Let's go into tech, something that we can all relate to. And it's a bunch of like the Jambox, the Jawbone Big Jambox. That's I'm familiar with that, but I'm not necessarily familiar with the
turntable that you want.
That's kind of cool. Ooh, and there's an iPad dock. How does that work?
Whoa!
I can go ahead and say like I want that.
TTI,
it's kind of just
USB
like
turntable.
That's a something that I basically am bookmarking it.
Yeah.
I can put it into a collection.
Yeah.
I won't put it into my collection
already
of
got a dress.
dresses, but I could go ahead and create a new collection and call it whatever I want. Tech. Okay, fine.
This is very Pinteresty.
It is very Pinteresty.
Yeah.
Or I can go ahead and just straight up buy it, and it'll then take me to a new page. In this
And
case,
this is
it's
how they
via
make
Amazon.
money, I would guess,
Yeah,
because it's probably
because
an affiliate.
referral stuff.
Yeah.
So this is not the first app or the only app to create and by the way, this is a team of curators. So it's not, the feed area is people that I am connected to via Twitter in this case, who are liking and wanting things.
But
so I'm
others
getting
are
stuff
doing
offered up
stuff.
to me, but they actually have a curation team. So it's not just a bunch of nonsense or like crappy products. The stuff in tech, for the most part, even if you don't want it, is still pretty high quality stuff.
Got
it's
it.
not junk. It's stuff that either you
Brass
like or
knuckles.
you can
Look at
certainly
that.
appreciate. Yeah, and then if I go to my
It's a
area,
brass knuckle iPhone case.
neat,
That's
huh?
funny, yeah.
This is some of the stuff that I want. For example, Insane Cat Posse. Who would not want that T-shirt? So this is sort of like my want list. Here's my 2 collections. I've got dresses and I've got tech, which I can add stuff to. And then in my bio area, the people I'm following, who's following me.
That's neat.
And then you can find other friends of yours who are also using Svpply. It's completely free. Obviously, it better be, because you're going to optimally be buying things through the app, so the app itself shouldn't cost any money. But it's really nice. It is yet another way to spend money I don't have, and I love it. Love it.
When you say Insane Cat Posse, it makes me think of an indie band. Is there an indie band called Insane Cat Posse? There ought to be.
Yeah. There's Insane Clown Posse.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
See, I'm getting into new music thanks to Band of the Day.
Oh, Band of the Day.
This is from a company that you've talked about before.
Yes.
55?
95 Dreams?
95, something like that, yeah. And what it is it's a discovery app that gives you a new band every day, which I really like. So I'll show you the calendar here. And they go back several months. So if you wanted to, you could scroll back several months. But let's go to this week. And you could pick any day in the month. So here's a band. We'll go to the Young Hines, singer-songwriter. They have many, many different categories.
Okay.
You can, of course, rate him. You can read reviews of the music. And while you're doing this, you can also listen to music by Young Hines, which is kind of nice. Here's a bio.
Yeah. Where'd all Young Hines come from?
Here's all the tweets about Young Hines.
Cool.
Kind of like, they call it the buzz.
Yeah.
Right? Videos by Young Hines. And then, of course, this is where they make the money. This is free. But if you buy the album, I imagine they make a little money. And he's only got one album, and that's it. So it's a great way to discover artists in a lot of different categories. I mean, I found punk rock. I found indie country. And there's a new one each and every day. So I kind of like that. Let me go back to this week. Here's some settings. You can add your Facebook friends, invite other friends.
So you can see
what they like. You can see what you've rated. So as you look at bands, you might want to vote. You can see bands you've recently viewed. Top of the charts is handy. This shows you what most people like. Bon Iver, very popular as an indie group, indie folk group. I'm not surprised with the iPad groups. And so then
what? You're
indie folk rock. I'm not surprised the iPad lovers love Bon Iver.
Oh God, he's me.
Well, it's not my cup of tea.
Well, there's two people with iPads who. Okay, anyway,
just
go on.
two.
Somehow
anyway.
You struck a nerve with me. I don't know.
I know you something about Bon Iver you don't like.
He's fine.
Let's see. You can all. It will link back to Facebook if you let it. For some reason, I cannot get to today. Maybe did I do something that I regretted? It may have a little bug in it.
Yeah, what happened? Is it trying to catch up with you?
It's trying to catch up. Anyway, here we go. We're now in the current week. Just to give you an idea, here's a Brooklyn band that creates epic soundscapes through dense, beautiful vocal. So you read these little one-liners, they'll give you an idea. That's today's band, a down-home Canadian country three-piece. Sweet, heartfelt, acoustic indie pop from a Nashville songwriter. So you see there's some real variety here. I'm not sure how they pick the bands, but if you're looking for an additional way to discover new artists that are not well known, this guy looks just like Jimi Hendrix. Maybe he's good, maybe not. I don't know. 60s inspired pop with a rustic
point,
scent.
Right? It's a little bit random because it's just one band a day.
And they're curating it. They know a lot about music. They did the Woodstock app.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
Which was awesome. We talked about that way back in the day.
So I think we've met these guys, haven't we? It seems like we have.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think we have.
This
Maybe
is
at
gonna be good.
Macworld one year.
Maybe at Macworld. Ha Ha Tonka.
Love it.
Foot Stompin'. Have you heard of them?
No,
Have you heard of any of these bands yet?
I just like the way that they're all so organically
Don't you love this description?
standing there.
Foot stomping, indie
there's someone
folk,
with a camera. We just were hanging
steeped in the Ozarks
with our jeans.
and the old 97s. I got to find out more about this.
Ha ha, Tonka. Let's listen.
Oh, that's Young Hines again. Wait a minute. Let me go back.
You want to listen?
Yeah. Oh, I could Facebook, Twitter, or email it. Now, see, I think this might be a little bit buggy because I'm not getting the Ha Ha Tonka music.
Oh.
There might be a little... I'm still Young Hines. Maybe if I... Oh, now we got Ya Ha Ha Tonka.
Okay.
Usual Suspects. Let's listen in. What do you say? And you could buy the song as well.
This does seem very indie focused, doesn't it?
Well, I think they're trying to find undiscovered
Yeah, that's cool. I'm into it.
bands that might be wearing interesting hats.
We should be in a band.
So this is called... This is more like something you would pick. I understand. It's called Band of the Day.
I don't know why you're saying that.
Because you always have the music discovery apps.
This is an equal opportunity app show. Okay?
Just remember, I am the fat George Clooney.
I will remember that, especially when you
Wear this hat.
when you sit before me in this way.
I think
how could I think anything different? George Clooney, everyone. See you in Cannes. And that's it for this edition of iPad Today. We've loved having you. Thanks for staying with us.
It was your idea to wear these dumb hats.
I love this part of the show. Are you kidding? You take away the hats, we got nothing. Nothing. We're done for.
This is our trademark.
Right.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
On iPad Today.